Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Honouring the heroes from silence to salute, the region pays tribute to sacrifice, survival and peace, 80 years on from VJ Day and the end of World War II.
As a former veteran of Gulf War I and Bosnia, I respect all veterans that have served before me and after me, and it's a day that we can remember those who was not so lucky and fell on the battlefield.
Also on the programme tonight, Written in Love, Sealed by Hope, a son's discovery of extraordinary wartime letters his mother sent to his imprisoned father, now set for a powerful exhibition.
Keep believing how one Sheffield Wednesday fan's positive attitude has turned him into an internet sensation.
And a sky full of stars in Sorby Bridge. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin stuns locals with a surprise gig at a pub. On the day, the 80th anniversary of VJ Day has been marked across the country. There have been calls here for more recognition for veterans who fought in the Pacific.
Around 1 million troops, including British, Indian and Commonwealth units and Gurkhas, continued to fight even though there had already been victory in Europe. And it wasn't until this day in 1945 that victory over Japan was declared.
Helen Steele has been meeting some of our veterans.
Ken Cook surprised today in Chesterfield with a glimpse of the restored cab named in his regiment's honour. The 100-year-old is renowned for being one of our region's last surviving D-Day veterans, the day which marked the beginning of the end.
At the going down of the sun, we will remember them.
The last of our enemies is laid low.
But for 3 months after fighting ceased in Europe, a bitter fight continued in the Pacific. And it's those who brought about victory over Japan Day that Ken says need recognition.
Anything about the VJ, the Forgotten Army, the Burma lads, it upsets me. There's memorials to D-Day veterans and memorials to VE Day, but there's no memorials to the Burma lads.
While celebrations went on back here, a then 20-year-old Norman Taylor wrote a letter to his mother in Bradford.
What do you think about all these victory celebrations they're going to have on June the 8th? I think it's an insult to all the chaps left here.
Well, we lived in tents, mosquito nets, food. When we were on the move was care rations. You know, we were all so unhappy about these celebrations.
Today, though, 8 decades on, tributes from the top.
That in the war's final act, an immense price was paid.
At the National Memorial Arboretum, a fly past, while the few who remain watched on. In Leeds, a chance to remember those from overseas who fought for our king and country.
About 23,000 Gurkha were deployed, so it's very important to Gurkhas to celebrate.
Families of fallen veterans at Scunthorpe told of stories that went untold. Alexander Jamieson was a prisoner of war in the Far East.
It was, I think, difficult to recount for many, many reasons. They lost so many young people over there, the brutality that they endured. They were very ill when they travelled back.
Nowadays, yes, it very much is sort of the forgotten element of the Second World War. For the Commission, we had a policy of non-repatriation, so those casualties from the Pacific theatre of war are buried over on the other side of the world.
Today, it's hoped the renewed spotlight will rewrite the history books, giving VJ veterans the part they deserve. Helen Steele, ITV News.
Now, for families of soldiers who were captured in Japan during the war, many feared the worst. But for one devoted wife, that didn't stop her writing to her husband every day after his capture in 1942, even though the letters could never be delivered. May Watson's son Andrew from Sheffield has now found the letters, which are set to be part of a major new project led by Oxford University. Here's Martin Fisher.
A table full of memories from over 80 years ago. Around 1,000 letters, one written most days by May Watson to her husband Frank, while he was in various Japanese prisoner of war camps. They could never be delivered, but still she wrote.
There was a period of several months after he had been reported missing when she didn't know whether he was alive or dead. But I think it was her way of being loyal to her new husband, to communicate with him every day.
Married shortly before the outbreak of World War II, the couple were separated as Frank served in the RAF. His journey taking him from the fall of Singapore to the brutal prisoner of war camps.
To really talk about conditions, I mean, they were absolutely awful, and we all know that. I knew that even though he hadn't told me. I mean, you only have to look at any programme about the war or read anything about the war to know that.
The letters, though, from May, while showing her love for Frank, really paint a picture of her everyday life without him.
Well, there's a little bit of the young married couple in it, saying how much she misses him and sends him a kiss and so on. But mostly they are either religious in content, or they'll be everyday, who she's seen, which shop she's been to, what she had for lunch. Had a most enjoyable time today. I did a little cleaning and got the new tap washer on. Had a lovely bath at Ruby's with a cup of tea to follow.
And it's this very picture of everyday life that's interested academics at Oxford University. They've scanned more than 2,600 items for a project called Their Finest Hour. The letters and other personal items put online.
Because these things aren't in archives, libraries and museums, they're things that are in garages, lofts, cupboards, and that means they're really at risk. Firstly, at risk of damage, wear and tear. Also, when people pass on, sometimes these things end up in the tip. So we thought, wow, this is fascinating and really important historical material.
Andrew doesn't believe his father ever read the letters, but from today, anyone will be able to access them.
Whether she ever thought that they'd see the light of day or they'd ever be catalogued and kept, I very much doubt. But I think just physically putting them into a bin or burning them is something she just couldn't face. I suspect she might have been a little bit embarrassed at some of the things that she said, and I think she'd be a little bit surprised that what she had for lunch in February 1943 would have been of any interest to anybody.
Frank came home after the war and lived until 1997. May died in 2012.
Out of these hundreds of letters that your mother wrote in the belief that your father was alive, you've got the one from him to her that actually confirms it. What does he say?
My dearest beloved, it is a privilege of the highest and strangest order to be able to write to you again. Speaking from memory, the last time I was able to do so was last Christmas, and so unable to write freely.
May and Frank, a couple separated by war, but whose devotion now there for all to see, some 80 years on. Martin Fisher, ITV News in Sheffield.
Wow, what an incredible story of devotion.
It really was, yes.
Now, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30 with more on VJ commemorations. Here's a look at what's happening with Lucrezia Millerini.
On tonight's Evening News, a day of war and peace. The high-stakes summit that could decide the fate of Ukraine. US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin set to meet face-to-face in Alaska. But it falls on the same day as the Forgotten Army is remembered. The UK marks 80 years since the end of the Second World War. And bigging up smaller venues, Coldplay's Chris Martin performs a surprise gig at a pub in West Yorkshire. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, you don't have to wait to see that on the ITV Evening News. This is, of course, Friday's calendar from ITV News. And still to come,
Join me here at the Puzzle Hall Inn in Sowerby Bridge on the very stage where Chris Martin from Coldplay performed a very exciting, very secret gig.
More of the day's news now, and a teenage boy who was arrested following the death of a 13-year-old girl in Huddersfield has been bailed. The 16-year-old was arrested on suspicion of murder and rape after police were called to a flat on Sheepbridge Road on Monday. The girl's death is being treated as unexplained after a post-mortem couldn't establish how she died. Detectives are working to fully understand the circumstances of her death.
Firefighters are continuing to tackle a large blaze on the North Yorkshire moors, which began on Monday evening. Overnight, firefighters worked to dampen down the flames and were assisted by local farmers and gamekeepers. 9 crews are working on the fire, and there are reports that smoke has spread in and around York. People in the area are being advised to keep all doors and windows shut. There are 2 units tackling a separate fire on the A171 near the Flask Inn.
A charity in Sheffield providing essential items to struggling families has had to open a new expanded premises due to soaring demand.
Baby Basics says the COVID pandemic, the cost of living and the 2-child benefit cap are some of the reasons why. Adam Fowler reports.
A brand new extended premises for Baby Basics. It's a charity that supplies the essentials to families who need help with children from before they're born to the age of 5.
On an average week in Sheffield, this charity hands out 17 Moses baskets, 51 clothing bundles and 13 prams, pushchairs or slings, among many other essential items.
The charity was set up in 2009 and since then has seen demand soar, with the amount it gives out going up 350% in the last 6 years.
The biggest jump we saw was during COVID, and obviously lockdown had a big effect on families, but the cost of living crisis is just continuing and more families are needing support. So nationally, last year we supported 1 in 110 babies in the UK born, but the birth rate had dropped, but we actually supported more. So that just shows that the need is growing so much, and child poverty, we've got 4.5 million children living in poverty in the UK, and we're just thankful we can do something to support those who need us.
One person who knows all too well the difference it can make is Daniel Tolosa, who benefited from the charity in 2023 and went on to become a volunteer and eventually an employee.
When my little girl was born, unexpectedly she was preterm, so she was born by 7 months, so we had to run to hospital, and my little one has to stay in the hospital for quite a long time. We didn't have anything by then. I wasn't working. I was unemployed. So out of nowhere, I saw Baby Basics donating a lot of Moses basket, bundles for children, and it really touched my heart. So that's why after my little one was out of hospital, I searched a lot about this charity and I started volunteering for this blessed charity.
We are so appreciative for all your help and for all your support.
Gogglebox star, the Reverend Canon Kate Botley, is a patron of the charity and says the new premises will mean it can help more families, not just in Sheffield, but across the whole of the UK.
That building that we used to have, oh my goodness, it just wasn't fit for purpose. It was over 3 floors, we had stairs to carry pushchairs up and all sorts of things. So this is going to change everything. It's going to mean we can help even more families. It means that our volunteers can get here easier. Just things like having a car park outside where we know our volunteers can pull up and pull their car up, park their car up and come in and help. That's going to make all the difference. We've got a kitchen, we've got office space, we've got all this storage. It's going to revolutionise our giving.
1 in 10 babies born in Sheffield receives a Moses basket from the charity. Just one of the essential services that's in demand now more than ever. Adam Fowler, ITV News, Sheffield.
Yes, it's a great service, that. Now then, the weekend is here. It's Friday, thank goodness. So let's get some sport. And Chris is with us, of course. And the Premier League season starts tonight, so that's exciting, isn't it?
It really is. I thought you were saying thank goodness that I'm here.
Well, of course.
Just it's a
You're
Friday
always
and the
here.
weekend's nearly here.
You've been here all week.
I have been here all week, yeah. I've been really busy. The Premier League season does start this weekend, Ian, you're right. But we have to wait a few more days before our sole representative kick off their season. Leeds United are back in the big time after promotion last season. season. Their first game is against Everton on Monday night at Ellen Road. Now, the Whites have been busy bulking up their squad ahead of the new campaign. They brought in 8 new players, the latest England international striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's joined this afternoon on a free transfer from Everton.
A chance for him also to revive his career and to reach former heights when he was really outstanding also on Premier League level.
Yeah, we'll have more of Leeds' build-up to that season opener against Everton on Monday. To the turmoil at Sheffield Wednesday now, and fans are being asked to gather in Hillsborough Park tomorrow to show their anger at the running of the club by owner Dafon Chansiri.
Get out of our club! Get out of our club!
Last weekend, many vented their fury at Leicester before the first game of the season. And you might remember that Arif spoke to one incredibly positive fan after the match who was very proud of his team's performance.
We're not brilliant now, weren't it? No, nothing. If you keep believing, this is what happened. Look at these people. We keep believing. Look what happens. Look what happens when you've got a gang of people like that. Keep believing. We'll be back. Keep believing, lads.
Yeah, I love it. Well, since our report was broadcast on Monday, Paul has become something of an internet sensation. Keep believing now, a motto amongst Wednesdayites. Well, we sent Arif along to catch up with Paul for a bit more positivity.
I'm Paul Shepherd. I'm almost 73 years old. My dad took me to Hillsborough the first time in 1958. That was it. I was just, my feet were in Wednesday concrete and that was it. I was just bitten by the bug, and from then on, I've just been Wednesday through and through.
Paul's love for Sheffield Wednesday is evident throughout his home. Blue and white has run through his veins since he was 6 years old. That's why the current mismanagement of the club personally pains him.
It makes me sad, disappointed, but also it makes me angry because we have a love and a passion for our club. And then you have the devil dressed as a football club owner. He comes along and he wants to take your love and your passion away. And we're not going to let that happen. That man is not going to kill us because it means too much to us.
What time are you off?
I'll be going about 1:45.
Wife Doreen is a Wednesday widow. Every match day, home or away, she loses her husband to football. What does Sheffield Wednesday mean to him?
Everything. More than me. More than me. I know my place, you know, the second out list, but yeah, everything.
We met last week at Leicester.
We're not brilliant now, weren't it? No, nothing. If you keep believing, this is what happened. Look at these people. We keep believing. Look what happens. Look what happens when you've got a gang of people like that. Keep believing. We'll be back. Keep believing, lads. Come on, we can have it.
What's come from that is a lot of fans have loved your positivity. Where does that positivity come from?
I don't know. I think I've always been a positive person. If you believe it'll happen, well then you've got to believe, because if you don't have belief, if you're not positive that things will change and things will come good, if you don't have that belief, why bother? Why bother? Let's just curl up and let the inevitable happen. But I'm one of many that ain't gonna let that happen.
Ever the positive person, Paul is backing the Owls to pick up their first championship win on Saturday.
Go for 2-1. I'm going to go for 2-1.
Okay,
yeah,
then.
We'll get our first 3 points of the season.
Oh,
Come on.
So drink to that.
Come
Right,
on.
Okay.
Yeah, keep believing. Feel a bit sorry for Doreen, though. Well, Arif's at Hillsborough for us now. Great to see Paul's positivity, Arif. But as I mentioned earlier, there are planned protests down at Hillsborough tomorrow, not far from where you are now. What exactly is going to happen?
Well, Chris, there's 3 protests planned for tomorrow. As you say, the first will take place across the road here at Hillsborough Park, where a mass demonstration is going to take place. A coffin will be marched through the park, a symbol of the death of Sheffield Wednesday Football Club under owner Dafon Chansiri. The second will see a number of fans remain in the park instead of going inside the stadium to watch the game. Fans have had enough of even Mr Chansiri, the hard-earned money. The third will see fans whistle for the first 5 minutes of the game. Now, this can be quite dangerous in terms of seeing the game either temporarily stopped or, even worse, abandoned, but fans feel they've reached the end of their tether and they have to take these drastic measures to get their message across to Mr Chansiri that they've had enough and they want him out of their football club.
RF Live at Hillsborough for us. Thank you very much. Sheffield Wednesday fans clearly wanting to send a message, don't they? Not just to the owner, Dave Chansiri, but the whole of the football world, who seemingly are right behind them as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Thank you very much indeed. You know the best bit there for me?
Go on.
Paul and Doreen's garden. Looked beautiful.
Oh, did you like it?
I did.
Yeah. Well, she's had plenty of time pruning because he's always at the football.
Of course. And by the way, you can see an extended interview with Wednesday superfan Paul over on ITVX. It's definitely one to watch. To find us, go to the ITVX app on your TV, phone or online, click on categories, then news, and then scroll down. And along with our latest programmes, you can catch up with exclusive content and some of our best stories, all available on ITVX on demand.
Now, Ian, if you could get free tickets to a concert, any concert, what would you choose?
Well, Jane MacDonald, of course. My mate Jane.
Well, if you're a Coldplay fan, maybe not for you, but you happen to have been in the Puzzle Hall in Sowerby Bridge last night, you'd have been treated to a 90-minute free Chris Martin gig. Well, Fraser Maud is there for us now. Fraser, you're about 24 hours late.
I know, should have been here yesterday. That's the age-old story, isn't it? But I am now standing where a giant of the rock world has stood. Chris Martin with his surprise gig last night here at the Puzzle Hall in Sowerby Bridge. Landlord Sam, what did you think when you knew that Chris Martin was coming? You didn't hear until last minute, did you?
No, it was a complete surprise. Fantastic surprise, yeah. Shock to all of us.
And a good performance.
It was fantastic, yeah. What I saw, I was in and out all night, but...
yeah, keeping you busy, I bet.
Keeping me busy, yeah.
And of course, being a massive rock star, world famous, he'll have turned up in a huge limousine with a big entourage, did he?
No, he just rolled up on his bicycle, straight on.
You're joking?
No.
Fantastic. It just shows he hasn't forgotten his roots. We can have a chat with Chris now from the Music Venue Trust. Now, you guys had a hand in this happening last night, didn't you?
A tiny hand, yeah. His amazing promotions team at SJM got in touch and wanted to find a local venue because he was staying locally. And so we just put him in touch with the wonderful team here and Sam, and yeah, he took it from there, really.
I had to ship in a piano, especially though.
They did have to get a piano, which apparently turned up quite late onto the performance and had to be pushed on stage. So, but yeah, it was great to see such a wonderful performer recognise the importance of grassroots venues like this.
Now, of course, I mean, he's sold out Glastonbury, he's headlined Glastonbury more times than anyone else. It must be such a thrill to get him to come back to grassroots and to remember his own grassroots, and they're donating money to the Trust as well, aren't they?
Yes, I mean, they started off in venues like the Dublin Castle and kind of the Bedford Esquires and small venues like this, and they have been really supportive and recognise the importance of those venues to their career. And so, yes, they're giving money to Music Venue Trust to help support over 800 venues across the country, just like this one here.
Fantastic. Now, I'm going to have a chat with a very special lady, but in the meantime, just have a quick look at this. This is what happened here last night. Yes, I'm here with Claire Murray, who was at the gig last night, and it was very special for you, wasn't it?
It was really special, yeah. We met Chris as he arrived on the driveway, and I mentioned that we'd walked down the aisle, me and my husband, to the song Sparks 24 years ago in a couple of weeks' time. So he dedicated the first song to us, which was absolutely mind-blowing.
And what was the rest of the gig like? I mean, it was almost personally for you, wasn't it?
It was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was like you weren't really in a big arena. It was just intimate. It was very relaxed.
And just let me check, you were with your husband, weren't you? Because you know what happens at these Chris Martin concerts.
Yeah, we got off lightly, we were fine.
Fantastic, great to hear it. Thanks ever so much for talking to us, Claire, sharing that story. Hand back over to you, and remember, keep going to your live pubs. You never know who you might see. Chris Martin.
Fraser Maud.
Oh, who knows who might be there tonight? He's in the right place, isn't he?
You never know, you never know. Kerry, it's been quite a week, hasn't it?
What a week. So warm. 27 Celsius again today. I know. A little bit cooler maybe at the weekend, but it's been glorious, hasn't it? And a big thank you for all your photos. By day, of course, when the sun's shining and we can see those signs of late summer into early autumn, but also by night. This was actually taken yesterday morning during the early hours. We had a dry thunderstorm. So lightning and thunder, virga cloud, but evaporating before it reached the ground. Absolutely fantastic shots by Andrew Greenwood. And Venus and Jupiter can be seen in the morning sky as well at the moment. So just before I deliver you my weather, just to let you know that we're doing some something a little bit different tonight. We've had slight technical difficulties with my map, but it's a Friday. Here's your forecast.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, we did okay today, but we're expecting a tiny bit more cloud as we head through into tomorrow. So for the weekend, if we hadn't had the week that we'd got, it'd be okay. Dry and settled, cloudy at times, at the coastline perhaps at times, but not all the time. And yes, it will feel a little bit cooler compared to what we've been used to this week. So we've got high pressure building from the northwest. That is allowing, though, this area of cloud to start to develop and push its way in. So as we head through into this evening and overnight tonight, we'll start to see the cloud developing from the west and move its way across all parts of the region as we head into the early hours. So by the time we reach tomorrow morning, definitely cloudier than we've been used to. A mild one though, 16 or 17 Celsius. And as we head into Saturday, is a mostly dry day, rising at 5:46 and setting again at 8:34. Don't be too worried. It's a dry day for most, and the cloud that we see in the morning is hopefully going to thin and lift and retreat as we head through into the afternoon. And even along the coastline, still some sunshine. I don't want to put you off going to the coast. There's a sea breeze, but it's feeling fairly pleasant, but high teens rather than mid-20s. And then as we head into Sunday, again, another decent day, mostly dry with some sunshine and still average or above. The average is around 21, so 24 not doing too badly at all. A bit more cloud over the coming few days, but still mostly dry.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
So there you go. That was a little bit different tonight, Keza, but you did a brilliant job.
Can't tell you the nightmares I've had. I can't.
Must be that hot weather.
Yeah, it was
Melting
hot
on the
weather.
wires, maybe.
I'm feeling a bit funny with all this hot weather actually, but you're enjoying it, aren't you?
I am. I love the hot weather. You're not so much of a big fan, though, are you?
It's the
Kerry?
28 Celsius, which I always go 82 Fahrenheit in old money. It's once it starts getting above that, it starts getting a bit oppressive. And then if you've got a week full of heat, we always talk about that. It's the day-on-day heat and the really warm nights. But yeah, I mean, slightly fresher nights.
Cooling down this
Venus
weekend.
and Jupiter in the morning. And there's
Brilliant.
plenty to look forward to. Yeah.
Have a lovely weekend, you two, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Join us again Monday at 6. Good night.
Bye-bye.